Here's a good today is Frankie and I'm here with Terror Tuesdays. And this movie is called Never Let Go. It's a good movie. However, I'm a bit confused by the ending. I would suggest watching the movie first, then, watching my video, because I'm going to explain this, and it's not really that much to explain in the movie, but I'm going to explain it the best as I can. It's about this, this mom and her two sons. Halle Berry is playing the mom, by the way, and I've heard the name, I've seen her, but I can't remember what movies I've seen her in. I thought she was also a talk show host as well, I'm sure, and I thought she was a singer as well, I swear, unless I think of somebody else. And I was like, okay, this movie, I'm not sure how to feel about this. It wasn't too bad. It's a horror mystery, and it's about her and two sons, basically, that live in a cabin in the woods, and they have to bless the house, basically, or like some evil would take over. I'm not gonna lie, there was some scenes which was interesting. One or two jump scares that got me a bit, and they also decide to break the rules of, like, not blessing us and not attaching themselves to rope, and they can't let go. If they let go, then the evilness will catch them or something like that. And then the mum starts to explain to these kids how they have to be strong and they can't let go. And she also said that when she was a young girl, she was like haunted by it, and her mum also, I think it was her mum or her dad, was saying that she has to be attached to the house and bless it, otherwise they'll be cursed, or whatever would happen to them. And she also spoke to that to her sons, Nolan and Samuel. And I think one of the sons, Nolan, suspects that his mum is obviously telling lies about the whole thing, and she could be making it up. I'm not going to lie, I thought there was some off about the mum too. The mum just came across as evil and aggressive, and she was threatening the kids, and not to mention, she would trap the kids, like to make them take turns to be in the cellar, like, whatever you want to call it, underneath the floorboards, and start saying what they imagine in the darkness and how they feel, which is kind of abusive because it's kind of scaring them mentally and stressing out mentally. So I'm not quite sure why she did that. She also threatened them with a knife to not bless if they didn't bless the house properly. She also mentioned about a camera that only has one what do you call it? One forward left to take, and and she says good to see it for one last moment. Yeah, and there's also things that you see, like you see some sort of like spirit or whatever it is, like some sort of evil entity, evil spirit come out. When Nate and Samuel was after Nate stamped on Samuel's rope, he broke his leg, and then the rope, because then the rope broke. I would call this a demon. The demon just comes out. It was like an old woman, I think, or and she's kind of holding them. Only the mum can see it, basically, and the mum also sees, like, senses another demon at the start of the movie. She also comes across like someone called Will, who's a dad. I think his name is Will. And I knew he was a demon. I kind of knew he was some sort of spirit, because there's no way he would make that journey all the way there. I just too good to be true. Because in that time of night, it had to be something that is kind of evil or something anyway. And he starts saying, give the kids to me. Or he says something about, I'll take your rights, whatever he said. And they also see, like, they see the same woman time and time again. And in one scene, the mum, in other scenes, the mum also tries to, because she spoke about needing more food, and she said she was thinking about, killing the dog, and it's a good idea to do so. And Samuel is agreeing with her all the time about questioning her. I don't know, but the way the mum talks to them, and the stories that she gives off, and the stories that she tells, well, not the vibe she gives us and the stories that she tells, yeah, I'll be questioning that too. And she goes and the shed, and you think she's going to shoot the dog, but she doesn't. Quite surprised in a movie like this. I wouldn't be surprised if they did do a scene like that. And she could do it. And then Nate sort of just tells her, stop. And he wants to remove the rope because he thinks, like, if they remove the rope, if it'll be okay. And the mom's just like chatting rubbish. That would have made sense in the movie. It didn't quite go down that way. Then dog gets out. Nate locks his own mum in the shed, and this is where the demon just sort of threatens her, says the kids will be mine, and whatever she said. And that's when the mum sort of slits her throat. Now, I didn't expect the mum to die in these sort of circumstances, in this sort of movie, because of the two kids. So that would make sense for her to be alive. I thought she was going to remain alive, or whatever it is, right? She ended up dead. Obviously, there's no phones that they're using or whatever, so they had to leave her like that. And then they come across a hitchhiker later on in the movie. And Nate is a bit suspicious and uncomfortable with him. And the guy did say he has supplies in his bag, and he was asking questions. I thought he was an evil dude too. In my mind, I thought he was planning stuff. I thought he was going to do something to them. When Samuel has the crossbow out, and he shoots the guy, and the guy just runs off, and he just bleeds out to death. And yeah, that's when Nolan starts, getting out, like chasing after him, and he eventually, sees him on the ground, just dead, or dying more like. Takes the rucksack with a backpacking recorder, I think, same thing, and there's food in there, and Samuel just sort of believes everything's just an illusion, everything just like all non-existent, and then only people left, which is a strange thing to say anyway. Don't know why anyone would say that. And yeah, and no, he just sort of reads it. They went here well, better than mine. There was one disgusting scene where I think was it Samuel, whoever it was ate a frog. That's nasty. Obviously that's edited to make it like he ate the frog, because he would have died if he ate the frog. I mean, better than if he ate actual frog, yeah, because they're poisonous. He would have been like, yeah. So that was a bit of a strange one, and yeah, Nate just sort of like. Yeah, he's more of like the clued up one. He suspects something's going on. And then when he has like the flashlight, he sort of thinks he saw his mum alive but standing somewhere. Goes back to the shed, not there. And then he comes across this girl that comes up behind him and said, "Have you seen my dad around? That's a hitchhiker's daughter." And then she sort of realizes that something happened to her dad, because the flashlight that Nate is carrying was actually her dad's. I think it was Nate. And then she begins to run off, and he tries to chase her. Yeah, no, it's Samuel actually, because Nate stayed behind. Samuel was the one that was like chasing after, and the rope got stuck. So as he was going after her, he had to cut his rope or let go of the rope, and that's when, yeah, something mad happened. This sort of scene where he stopped at the location where he thought she was at, and she sort of, I didn't know how she became a demon, because she didn't die, or was she actually dead, and was she actually like evil as such? And then she sort of spit something at him. Now I thought with demons they only have to vomit in your mouth or spit in your mouth in order for you to get possessed by them, because a lot of them is inside you now. But the demon spat at his fingers, and he sort of gets possessed, and that's sort of what the mum had. That's what I think happened to the mum. But I think she got possessed by those things, and it followed through. But she didn't harm the kids because she was inside. They never let go. But surely she would have killed them anyway. So yeah, I was a bit confused in that bit. Then Nate has to, Nate spots him, and this is a scene where this is a bit chaotic, and he tries to talk to Samuel. And then Samuel's all possessed, and something happens to him, and that's when he nearly got stabbed by Samuel. And Nate just runs out. Samuel blocks the door, and he sets a house. He sets a cabin on fire, and that's when Nate has to run off, and he sees his who he thinks is a dead mom, but isn't. That's actually some demon, because of the tone of voice. Yeah, this gives away that she is a demon. And yeah, she wants to trick him to be to go to basically to die, really, to trick him in that sense. And Nate sees it, runs downstairs, and he sort of goes through the cellar door. I don't even know what you call that door. Goes to the cellar door with his mum in there, and he sort of holds on tight, like really grappling on her, like really holding her tight. This is the part that got me the most, that confused me. I literally thought, okay, when they showed the scene where the mum opens up the door, and she was just like saying, "Oh, Oscar, what do you see in there? How was it?" I was like, wait, he was dreaming that? He all imagined that? But that was just a scene that they were recapping on, just like when the mom said you have to be strong, you have to hold on tight. That's what Nate was doing. And this is weird. This I didn't expect this, right? The mom sort of whatever you want to call it, the demon has disguised the mom. Like her skin was ripping, and then it turns out there was an alien that came out. I was just like, I love my aliens, right? I fully believe in aliens, 100%, right? But having an alien in this movie doesn't make sense because it's more related to demons than aliens. So where the hell did an alien creature come from? That's ruined it for me in this sort of movie because I didn't expect that, right? But it was kind of a bit silly to have an alien like that in this sort of movie. And then that's the entire house, got destroyed. And you see Sammy just take a picture, which didn't really mean much. It was just a picture of himself, really. I don't know what the point of that was. But they're going to show something important. And then you see Nate being taken to a helicopter. And yeah, his brother's in the helicopter with him. And he sort of says, we're safe now. See, we're all safe. And he gets quite surprised to see houses and life around. And I was like, I thought Samuel was going to die. He was still alive. And Nate said, Mum loves me more, which I don't think he needed to include. But yeah, that's basically the whole movie, really. If I miss any scenes out, I do apologise for that. It's just, I'm only mentioning the important scenes as I can. And for me, this movie, like I said earlier, this movie is good, but then it missed out a lot of good bits that they could have added into it. They could have had a twist. It didn't feel... The only mystery to me was why they didn't have a twist. Because it kind of confused me what on earth was going on. I mean, I know what was going on, but it kind of confused me with the whole story mode towards the... storyline towards the end. And I don't know, they could have had something to it. They could have had a twist at the end. I didn't know. We didn't actually. Well, they didn't actually show what was causing the whole house to be the way it was. Like why they had to bless it, and there was no reason to it. I thought with me, I was are they all dead, and that's why they can't let go. That would have been an ending. That would have been because they're stuck there for life. That would make sense that they were dead, their spirits. Or the mom the entire time was a demon and she was warding them off of evil when she was evil herself, which she kind of was. They didn't show it, so I don't know. But then when she said her fault, I was like, oh right, so she can't be one of them. But she still, they still made her evil in this movie. That's what I thought. Or maybe the kids were imagining it, or one of the kids would it must have been a good twist. I have no idea. Or maybe what if the demons, what if the mum probably murdered one or two people, and that's what one of those main people is that old woman that's there, and she's trying to get revenge, but then we would have known about it. She would have mentioned something like that. But there's varieties of theories, right? I don't know. It would have made sense to have any one of those endings into this movie, but they had to end it where it didn't even feel like a mystery ending. It just felt like, it just ended like that. It was a mystery at first, but it just turned into something that was a bit cliche. Like, you think of the demons that came, just cliche, but I see why they did it, right? Especially when the mum saw the crow picking at the that she thought was one of her sons, and then it turned out to be not real, whatever it was, and then another person which had their head like that. There were scenes like that, and I'm thinking, was it all in their head? Was that what it was? It can't have been, because the house was, the cabin was set on fire. But then Samuel set on fire when he was possessed. So maybe there was no demons. Maybe it was just, I don't know. It was probably just an illusion. Probably, maybe, I have no idea. And the house protecting them. The house didn't protect them. The house caused them more danger. If that was the case, then the house wouldn't have been complete. I mean, not the house. My God, the cabin wouldn't have been destroyed. If that was the case, right? They would have been helped out in more ways from the cabin, because then the cabin didn't do it. It didn't help them in any sort of way. Then that doesn't make sense in the premise of the story in this movie. But let me know what your theories are, because I don't know. I really don't know. I got a bit lost and confused towards the end there. At least with the whole truth. The whole truth had a better story. The mystery actually felt like a mystery because when you saw it towards the end, it actually surprised me and it actually got me, and it makes more sense. But with this one, it doesn't towards the end because we never actually know. I know some mystery movies are better than a cliffhanger, and a lot of horror mysteries are like that. Right? A lot of horror movies are mystery, but it didn't need a cliffhanger like that. Right? I don't know. Maybe I'm just too stupid to see it. Maybe I probably weren't paying attention to the certain type of dialogue that I was going to be paying attention to. But this is why I get jumbled up my words sometimes, because of movies like this where it just really, I was lost. I was confused. So rating. At first, it looked like an 8, but then I thought it could be a 9. I'm going to go back to an 8. I do think it's a good movie. I didn't expect Halle Berry to play a character as she might have done in other movies and shows, I don't know. But I'm going to have to give this an 8, just simply because I like the story, I like the concept of it. I like the how the demons went to. Some dialogue was good, but the acting I feel like could have been better. I feel like they just needed cliche parts, like the demon parts and whatever, just to make it look good. And the storyline confused me. It's nowhere near close to being a perfect 10. I don't think it deserves a 9. Maybe I'm being harsh. I don't think it deserves a 9. I think most deserves an 8. Throughout the movie, it felt more like an 8. And I probably would recommend it because it is a good movie. I just think they could have done something a bit more different. Instead of including an alien, they could have included some sort of demon that came out. So anyways, let me know what you think in the comments. So that's it for this video. 8 out of 10 is. If you enjoyed the video, please give a like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'll see you in my next video.